at Minute Maid Park on June 1st. It's a brand new month, a brand new series for the Houston Astros, who are hosting the Baltimore Orioles, facing this team for the second time in just about 10 days and looking for revenge after dropping a series in Charm City. Brett Oberholzer will be on the mound tonight, returning from the disabled list. He looks to get the Astros back on track. Don't go anywhere. Astros baseball starts now.
Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's the opener of a 4-game series. The Houston Astros meeting the Baltimore Orioles. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. Julia Morales joins us in just a few minutes to see the second series in the last week between these two. Baltimore took 2 of 3 in Baltimore, and those were all hotly contested games, Ash.
They certainly were, and the long ball for the Orioles turned out to be the big difference maker.
Well, long ball is not something that Brett Oberholzer wants to hear about tonight. He returns to the rotation. It's been a while, and he would love to hold this team down.
That blister problem has really plagued Brett Oberholzer this year. Came out of spring training and wound up going on the DL because of that. He's made just one start to this point on the season. But the record lifetime against the Orioles would say get him out there and get him there as quickly as can be. 2-0 in 2 starts and an immaculate ERA against the Baltimore Orioles. So Brett runs it out there, his second start of the season. He is not going to overpower people, and you see some very well spotted pitches. That's what Brett has to do to be successful. The changeup that you just saw for the strikeout is another big part of the game. Pitching inside will also be a key. Brett Oberholzer trying to get back on track and stay healthy with tonight's start.
His mound opponent, Ubaldo Jimenez, has made 10 starts against the Astros and has not had a loss.
Talk about immaculate. He has been really, really good. That 4-0 mark would say that he has enjoyed pitching against the Astros. He faced the Astros in that recent series you talk about in Baltimore. This is some of the footage from that series. Jimenez got away with a lot of pitches that were in hittable zones. The Astros just didn't seem to have an answer for this veteran right-hander, who now has the best ERA among the starters for the O's.
Coming up, Julia Morales is back to recap the month of May for the Astros. A winning record. How did it break down individually for the players? Julia has more in just a moment.
Forward to getting another shot at the Baltimore Orioles. The O's in town for 4 games. And the Astros looking for some revenge after dropping 2 out of 3 in Charm City just last week. But it's June 1st. Can you believe it, with the roof open like this? It feels good outside. A brand new month. And when we look back at May, there was some good and bad for this Astros team, but a lot of good. Still 4 games up in the AL West. It's our Jack in the Box Inside the Box score that's showing us some of the highlights from May 2015. Like I said, a lot of good with Dallas Keuchel. He suffered his first loss of the year against the O's, but man, he's been lights out for this club. Was the AL Player of the Month in April. Has to be in the discussion for May. Preston Tucker, he's finding himself in the 3-hole now after playing so well since his call-up. Evan Gattis coming around, driving in 22 runs, hitting 276 after what was a really tough start for the slugger. George Springer, of course, went on the concussion DL, but when he came back, he's turned it on. He's even moved up to the leadoff spot for the Houston Astros. 19 walks and his last 23 in the bullpen. Continues to do a very nice job for the Houston Astros. Tripped up a couple of times recently, but they have veteran presence and look to turn things back around here today against Baltimore. Coming up, he's back. Brett Oberholzer ready to step in, returning from the disabled list. Will his success versus the Orioles continue? Astros O's begin after the break.
By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Jack in the Box. Try the new Double Jack today, only at Jack in the Box. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Surprise, surprise, here at Minute Maid Park, the roof has been rolled back. And it's a sunny night and not as warm and humid as it has been on many June 1sts in previous years. Lower humidity, and it should be a wonderful night for the fans to enjoy outdoor baseball here. The first of 4 between the Baltimore Orioles and the Houston Astros. Members of the police force still coming off the field after the special first pitch ceremonies tonight before the game. Tyler Martin, the son of fallen Houston police officer Richard Martin, threw out the ceremonial first pitch. Officer Martin was killed on May 18th in the line of duty. Tyler is a starting pitcher for his Little League team in Cy-Fair. Members of the Houston Police Department there, Jose Altuve, George Springer, involved in the first pitch ceremony. They both went out, spent some time with young Tyler Martin. And now the Astros just about ready to take the field. They've lost 4 of their last 6 in the American League West, though. They are still the leading team. They're 31-20. They're 4 games in front of the Angels, 5 in front of the resurgent Rangers. The Mariners trail by 6.5. The Athletics are 12 games out. The Astros have the second best winning percentage in the American League, .608. And they have not won a series from Baltimore since June of '03. The Orioles have taken the last 7 series against the Astros, including 2 of 3 just a few days ago in Baltimore. And as you saw the O's up close, you saw a team that had some good pitching and had some hot hitters at the time, too.
Team also that got off to a slow start this year. After winning the American League East last year, they were a very good club. Got eliminated quickly from the postseason. But it's a team that has a lot of power. They led the American League in home runs last year. This year coming along and starting to move in that direction. The Astros have been the leaders there. These Baltimore Orioles, though, a very talented bunch. There's your American League East and the Orioles. A couple of games out, the Yankees and Rays have both been surprises so far this year.
That division is totally up for grabs.
And, of course, the Astros are once again going to see the Blue Jays, who they swept in 4 games here not long ago. That will be coming up at the end of this homestand into Toronto and Chicago.
A.J. Hinch, Buck Showalter, the managers, still going over the ground rules here at Minute Maid Park. The Astros are 16-12 in this ballpark. They just lost 2 of 3 from the White Sox over the weekend. And the Orioles are beginning a long stretch of road games. 15 of their next 23 on the road after they were 4-4 at home. And the Astros take the field now with their 31-20 record, trying to get this homestand going in a positive way tonight. It's the first of a 4-game series. 7:10 starts tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, and then a 1:10 finale to the homestand on Thursday afternoon. Brett Oberholzer will be making only his second start with the Astros, and he's convinced that blister problem is not going to be bothering him. He had only 1 minor league rehab start with Fresno, and now he's back out there on the mound getting ready to face this Baltimore starting lineup. And the Orioles are 10th in the league in runs scored. As Ash mentioned, they had a powerful team last year. They're 5th in homers this year. They lead off with Manny Machado at third base. David Lowe is the center fielder tonight. Adam Jones has had a banged-up ankle. He's DHing and batting third. Delman Young hit his first 2 homers of the season yesterday. He's in right field with Chris Davis at first base. Davis had a big series against the Astros. Steve Pearce also went deep against the Astros a couple of times a few days ago. He's the left fielder. Caleb Joseph the catcher. Ryan Flaherty at second. Everett Cabrera is the shortstop, and their pitcher will be Ubaldo Jimenez.
And on the mound, we mentioned him, Brett Oberholzer, young left-hander, again, just the second start this year. The blister on that forefinger of the left hand has got to clear up for him to be able to start making some regular, consistent starts for the ball club. His first major league win and start came against these Orioles back July 31st of 2013, part of a big win for Houston. 7 innings of great 3-hit, no-run baseball for Brett, and he would love to bring back a little bit of that evening as he gets it going here this evening. Defensively, Preston Tucker in left field, Colby Rasmus in center, and George Springer in right. In the infield, left side, Luis Valbuena and Marwin Gonzalez. On the right, it's Jose Altuve and Chris Carter, and Jason Castro behind the dish for the Houston Astros.
Oberholzer gets the baseball and focuses on the leadoff man, Manny Machado. Machado on this beautiful night starts the night hitting .270. He has 8 homers, 22 runs batted in, 2 for 11 against the Astros. First pitch is grounded on 1 hop. Luis Valbuena has it, and there's 1 pitch, 1 out for Obi.
Well, that's the way you want to get it started. And if you can get some quick and relatively painless early innings, maybe Brett can find a way to get deep into the ball game. Just came up a little shy of 90 pitches in his last outing in the minor leagues.
David Lowe is next, an excellent defensive player in the outfield. .239, 1 homer, 2 runs batted in for the former Kansas City Royal. And he looks at that first pitch. It's ball 1. Trip Gibson is the home plate umpire. Lowe takes that one, and he's in front. 2 balls, no strikes. The Orioles averaging 4.2 runs per game this season. Now it's a 3-0 count with Adam Jones waiting next. And 3-1. It was a low-scoring series between the two a few days ago. Baltimore scored 10 runs in the 3 games. Houston scored 11. Baltimore hit 5 homers, though, in that 3-game series against the Astros. In for a strike, and Obi's back to a full count after falling behind 3-0.
No surprise there that David Lowe might have been taking all the way. Trying to set it up. They've got some big boppers in the heart of this order for the O's.
(3-2), and that's a foul ball. The Astros starting pitchers as a group have won 19 and lost 14 with a 4.16 ERA. Obi making start number 2 in the rotation. Scott Feldman has been placed on the disabled list. Right knee surgery for Scott, expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Sharply hit. The shortstop is right there, Marwin Gonzalez. 2 outs. Nice comeback by Obi after falling behind the hitter. 3-0.
Another aspect there, being able to get that left-handed hitter at the plate. If you're a left-handed pitcher in the major leagues, you should have some semblance of dominance against the left-hand hitters.
Adam Jones comes up. Jones with 6 homers, 26 runs batted in. Sports a .304 batting average. 400 in April, 239 in May. And his 4th straight game he has not played center field because of the right ankle problem from sliding into home plate a few days ago. Ball 1 to Jones. Jones has been superb in the outfield. He's won 3 Gold Gloves the last 3 years, and he drove in 96 last year. That's in for a strike, and it makes it 1-1.
A couple of things Brett Oberholzer has done well in his brief tenure in the major leagues. Keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's allowed less than a home run per 9 innings, and keeping guys off via the walk. So he'd love to continue that now to improve with those hits against him.
1-2 to Jones.
241 career hits in 218 innings, so that's far higher than he would like to have. That changeup very effective.
Jones backs away. It's one of those rare nights with the lower humidity than we have been having. Of course, with so much rain in the Houston area, it's been nothing but humid days for the last couple of weeks or so. And he struck him out. A 1-2-3 first for Obi. The Astros come up against Ubaldo Jimenez in a moment. lines. They are 8th in runs scored in the American League. They go with George Springer in right field, Jose Altuve at second base, Preston Tucker in left field, Evan Gattis the DH. Colby Rasmus in center field tonight, Chris Carter at first base. At third, it's Luis Valbuena, the catcher, Jason Castro batting 8th. It's followed by shortstop Marlon Gonzalez.
And on the mound for these Baltimore Orioles, Ubaldo Jimenez. 9 starts on the year. He's 3-3. That ERA at 3.14, best on the Orioles staff in terms of the starters, and 4-0 lifetime in 10 starts against the Houston Astros.
George Springer looks at his first one. It's good for strike one. George had 222, has 7 homers, 17 runs batted in, and 32 walks, ranking him 4th in the American League. He's been leading off for the last week or so. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's hitting .296 as the leadoff hitter in the last 7 games. Walking 5 times, and that gives him a .406 on base average. It's an unusual style for Jimenez, the way he yanks that ball straight down out of his glove, Ash.
It is unusual, and it always makes me think that shoulder should be in such jeopardy with that delivery, but it seems to work out well.
He gets a punch out to open his night.
Defensively, behind Jimenez for the Orioles, outfield left to right, Steve Pearce, David Lowe, and Delman Young. On the infield, left side, Manny Machado and Everett Cabrera. On the right, it's Ryan Flaherty and Chris Davis. Caleb Joseph continues to get the job behind the plate.
Jose Altuve settles into the box with a .296 average, 5 homers, 25 runs batted in, .231 was his May average. There's strike one to Jose, who is 5th in hits in the American League with 61, and he leads in steals with 15. He's hit .308 in his last 6 games now. Taps that one foul, and it's no balls and 2 strikes for Jimenez. You talked about Jimenez, 4-0 against the Astros. When he has made his 10 starts against Houston, his teams have gone 7-3 against the Astros. He's 31 now. That one's in the dirt for a ball and a 1-2 count. Jimenez has won 91 and lost 87 in his career with a 3.97 ERA. Last year was his first year with Baltimore. He was 6-9 with a 4.81. Had some command issues with 77 walks last year in 125 innings. That's off the plate. 2-2 to Altuve.
Early in the career of Jimenez, he put together 4 consecutive wins, or seasons rather, winning double-digit numbers. Starting with a 12-12 year with the Rockies in 2008, won as many as 19 one year.
Machado at third. Takes care of out number 2. Yeah, 19-8 in 2010 with Colorado with a 2.88 ERA. That will get people's attention with 221 innings pitched.
Winning percentage, best in the major leagues that year among the starters. He was an All-Star, Cy Young Award, 3rd in the voting that year.
Preston Tucker steps up. Tucker at .306 has 2 homers, 8 runs batted in. Glittering numbers in his first stint in the majors, 62 at bats. And it's ball 1 to the University of Florida product. He was hitless yesterday for just the 2nd time in his last 8 games. Preston was 3 for 12 in that series in Baltimore with an RBI. He fouls it back, and it's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Preston has 7 doubles already. That's 3rd among rookies in the American League.
You know, batting practices for the guys really about getting loose and getting the feel, but when Preston Tucker gets in the cage, it's a little different than most of the other guys. It is alive with the sound and the way the ball comes off the bat.
He put on a pretty good show tonight again.
He did that.
Some upper deck home runs in right field. Swings underneath that slider, and it's a 2 ball, 2 strike count.
You see Preston Tucker not get cheated here, but he really is not close to that hanger.
Evan Gattis is on deck. In tight. And Tucker has done this. He's worked the count very well. 3-2. The Astros were shut out yesterday by the White Sox. John Danks on 10 hits and lost 6-0. That's a foul tip strikeout, and both pitchers have a 1-2-3 first. A couple of punch outs for Jimenez. No score.
June 1st, 1975. Nolan Ryan throws the fourth of his 7 no-hitters, blanking these Orioles 1-0. He goes on to become the all-time strikeout king. 5,714 of them. Throws 222 complete games. I'm not sure that's likely to happen anytime soon. Nolan Ryan is simply the greatest power pitcher of all time.
Delman Young leads it off, swings at the first pitch and misses. There's strike one as inning number 2 gets underway. Young hit a couple of homers yesterday, his first 2 of the season. He's driven in 13 while hitting .303. Very good hitter. Career .283 average. He smacks that one foul. He has had some outstanding postseasons as well. No balls, 2 strikes to the 29-year-old Delman Young, first round draft choice in '03. He was the first player taken by Tampa Bay that year. Grounded up the middle. Marwin Gonzalez flashing the leather. Good coverage to his left for out number 1.
It's a really good example here by Marwin Gonzalez of how you set your feet to be able to get rid of the ball quickly. And that pitch by Obi, well done. Off speed, down and away. There's the glove in position with the feet just beautifully situated. Marwin makes it look easy.
Chris Davis comes up next, and he is a threat. The man who hit 53 bombs in 2013 to lead the American League. The shift is on for Davis. And he takes that one on appeal to the third base umpire, Brian Gorman. He rules a check swing. Davis at .226 has 12 homers, 30 runs batted in. He hit 2 homers in 1 game against the Astros. That was last Wednesday in Baltimore. Looks at that strike to even the count, add 1-1. Davis, now 29 years old, was drafted by the Texas Rangers in the 5th round in '06. Baltimore got him in a trade in July of 2011. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. We talked about the power, and he certainly is at the forefront of this power display the Orioles can put on.
But by no means the lone power hitter in the lineup. They've got some guys who can swing it. The Orioles currently 10th in total bases in the American League. And
They've had to deal with some injuries along the way. Fly ball left field. Preston Tucker comes over. That's out number 2. They're hoping to get Matt Wieters, their hard-hitting catcher, back from the disabled list. He has not played for them yet this year. He could be in the lineup here Thursday afternoon, DHing. He's on a rehab assignment right now, as is Bud Norris, the former Astro right-hander. Both are in the minor leagues.
By the way, these Orioles a year ago led the major leagues 211 home runs. And so that speaks pretty soundly to the way they've got just a load of guys that can hit for the long ball.
Steve Pearce takes it. It's ball 1 to the former Astro, hitting 189 with 6 homers, 18 runs batted in.
Of course, one of the big boys got away, Nelson Cruz, who had 40 last year.
Yeah, it's tough to replace that when one player hits that many. 2-0.
And he's been tearing it up for Seattle, and yet Seattle hasn't enjoyed the results a whole lot in the winning column.
Kind of a strange year for the Mariners. Pearce hit 2 homers against the Astros a few days ago. Grounds this one to third. Valbuena makes it out, number 3. 6 in a row set down by Brett Oberholzer. No score.
Second. And Faith and Family Night presented by Houston Methodist is back in 2015. Christian rock band Mercy Me returns to the stage at Minute Maid Park for a post-game concert Saturday, June 13th after the Astros take on the Seattle Mariners. For more info, visit astros.com/faith. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. Evan Gattis steps up. He's on a 7-game hitting streak. Nothing, no base runners through an inning and a half. Gattis has really been functioning very well with a nice off-field approach. There's ball 1. He feels good about it. He's at 230 with 11 homers, 30 runs batted in during his 7-game hitting streak. And you see the month of May has been very kind to him. 9 homers, 22 runs batted in. He's gone 13 for 28 during the last 7 with 3 homers, driving in 6. After a very rough month of April. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Oh, my goodness. But can she hit?
Who cares? She can hit that cotton candy.
Got some pretty good focus there early on.
Gattis said he had a chance to chat in Detroit with Miguel Cabrera a little bit. In the air, and that is foul and out of play. He loves DHing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Not every player says that who has played a position and come to the American League and been exclusively a DH, but he said he has liked it since the beginning.
Yeah, I wonder where that conversation went with Miguel Cabrera. does it go beyond the DHing and just talk in general about hitting?
Yeah, he didn't elaborate. There's a strikeout, number 3. He said it was fairly brief, but he enjoyed it and learned some things. Well, Jimenez got him on a high rider here.
Going up the ladder, classic way to pick up strikeouts. Most guys are not going to hack on that helmet high heater, but Evan Gattis has shown the ability to crush that pitch.
Colby Rasmus did not start any of the 3 games against the White Sox. They started 3 left-handers. He looks at that one for strike 1. 239 for Colby, 8 homers, 17 runs batted in. And very good numbers, 13 for 31 with a long ball against Ubaldo. It's 0-2.
Something is very deceptive right now to the hitters. Good Gattis swinging at the extremely high pitch. That splitter seems to be picking up swings when it's down out of the strike zone.
1-2.
Why throw strikes when you don't need to? And that looks like the philosophy for the moment.
Rasmus went 3 for 4 against Jimenez last time out. 2-2. Ubaldo had a 4-1 lead in that game, and then Gattis hit a late 2-run homer off him, and he surrendered all of that lead, left with the game tied at 4 after 7 innings. The Orioles won it late, 5-4. And that is a foul tip strikeout. That's 4 out of the first 5 punched out by Ubaldo.
Well, that at bat was nothing but splitters low under the strike zone and fastballs high. I think Colby wanted to know, did that foul tip hit a little bit of dirt before the glove, but looked like it was clean.
Oh, well, they're lined up. That's up on the club level. That's that new concession stand.
I'll be right back, Brownie.
Yeah, here's Chris Carter. Carter's on an 8-game hitting streak. There's ball 1. And Carter has put some things together very nicely. 198 homers, 27 driven in. He looks at that for ball 2. It's 2-0 to Chris. He was 4 for 10 in the White Sox series with a long ball. In Baltimore, he drove in 4 in the 3 games. Taking there, he's ahead, 3-0 in the count. The Astros continue to lead the American League in long balls with 68. That is ball 4. Carter takes the 2-out walk on 4 pitches. He's on for Valbuena. Valbuena had a big smile on his face in the clubhouse tonight. He said, May is over. It's June 1st.
Yeah, that's one attitude. And most players really wouldn't be aware, at least years ago, wouldn't have been aware of months and how they were impacting the overall stats. You know that for some time you're struggling, but obviously Luis has delved into the numbers a bit.
188 for the season, but 10 homers. He looks at that one, and it's ball 1. He hit 163 in the month of May. The Astros, though, won 16 and lost 13. They had a 4-game lead at the end of April. They have a 4-game lead at the end of May.
They also had a 7-game lead at one point. And so a little bit has gotten away, but that's going to happen over the course of the year. You hope to rebound from that point. Just barely catching that inside edge. Count could be 0-2 right now.
Fly ball out to left field. Steve Pearce moves in a few steps to end the second inning with no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. No score after a couple. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Beautiful skies above. The rain has moved out. Should be a nice week around Houston and a dry week. 0-0. The Orioles and Astros have played 2. Caleb Joseph will start inning number 3. Filling in for the injured catcher, Matt Wieters. Joseph at .254 has 4 homers. And as you see the Overholtzer pitching line, he has moved swiftly through the first couple. Joseph has 18 runs batted in. Hit a home run off Dallas Keuchel in Baltimore. And there's strike one. Steve Clevenger, the other catcher on the roster, is a left-handed batter, so they can platoon for Buck Showalter in the absence of Wieters. Will be missing there. Takes the count to 1-1 with Flaherty on deck. Cabrera due up third in the inning. Fouled away, and it's 1-2. Obi really hoping that blister does not cause any more problems. That dated back to spring training. Had to wait until May 13th for his first start, and that's been his only one with the Astros until tonight. It's on the index finger of his left hand, right on the tip of the finger. That's rocked to right field, up the line, and slicing away from George Springer into foul territory, and out of play for George.
Talking about that blister of Brett Overholtzer, we were talking with Jim Palmer, Hall of Fame pitcher for the Orioles and also a longtime broadcaster now, but he was talking about a period of time in his career when he just could not get away from a blister. No matter what he did, it kept flaring up, and it's very tough on anybody who gets that inflamed spot on the body, especially a finger like that that's needed so much in the art of pitching.
Inside, yeah, there's just so much pressure constantly applied to that finger. It's hard to have it heal and remain healed.
In fact, Jim Palmer also talked about a blister that he got on his thumb, which seems a little odd, but it's a point of release on the baseball as well.
That's a liner and off the glove of Altuve on into left center field. The ball hit hard by Joseph. That'll be the first hit for the Orioles.
If you played the game, you know that the baseball can sail one direction or another at times. Looked to me, and I couldn't see the baseball sail, but Altuve went up, and this ball wound up moving to the shortstop side of him, as if maybe there was some sailing action on it.
You know, the way he moved his glove, it appeared that way. Solid knock through the shift for Joseph. He's aboard for Flaherty now. Ryan at .250 with 2 homers has driven in 4. Infield shifts around, and he looks at ball 1. Cabrera's on deck. Flaherty was on the disabled list for a while, reinstated May 27th. Spent some time at Norfolk. Right groin strain. That's lined into shallow center field, in for a hit in front of Colby Rasmus. And the 7-8 hitters have something working here with Cabrera coming up first and second and nobody out.
Hard to say if Flaherty had any notion of trying to hit the ball left of second base. He managed to hit the line drive through that area, but especially when you get to the bottom of the order like this and the defense puts a shift on you, I'm just waiting to see major league hitters start to see if they can adjust and find a way to come up with the base hits, create innings.
Everett Cabrera, a switch hitter, with the corner infielders pinching in as this at bat. And he shows bunt and takes a strike. 209 for Cabrera. No homers, 4 runs batted in. J.J. Hardy, the usual everyday shortstop, is banged up right now. Cabrera 0 for 3 in one of the games in Baltimore against the Astros. He's a career .248 hitter coming into this season with the San Diego Padres. He slashes one. He was showing bunt and then tried to hit it by Chris Carter. Hit it foul, and it's 0-2.
Watch Cabrera take batting practice today, and a good portion of what he did in batting practice was exactly that, trying to hit the ball to right field.
Cabrera was on the disabled list coming off May 22nd. He had a left foot contusion. Well, the Birds have been dealing with some nagging things to several players. There's a strikeout, and Obi can use that. 2 on, 1 out now. That's his second of the night.
Always the nice way to pick up that first out when you've got at least a man at second base. In this case, a couple of men aboard. Get that first out via the strikeout, and then see if you can get the ground ball to create the double play.
They liked it. Manny Machado grounded out on the first pitch of the game to Valbuena at third. The native of Miami, who's now 22 years old. Ooh, out in front there, and it's strike one.
Change-ups and the off-speed breaking ball for the strikeout on Cabrera. What an impact they can have. You can see that Machado was trying to tee off on a first pitch fastball, got the change instead.
Machado hits a check swing grounder. Valbuena, Altuve, and Carter turn 2, and the Astros get their 52nd double play. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left, no score.
Brought to you by Yellowwood. The Astros have been leading home run club this year in the major leagues. Most of the time, Jason Castro launches one for your benefit, as does Jose Altuve. Second in the major leagues in the month of May with 39 long balls. Chris Carter getting in the act. That was a big one, by the way. 2-run shot that gave the Astros the lead at the time. This guy leads the club, Evan Gattis. And Lumberjack has been dealing with it. Colby Rasmus has been a very consistent power source. It's a good home run hitting club, and that's been a big reason the Astros find themselves in first place.
Jason Castro bats. Ball 1 to Castro at 229. He has 5 homers, 12 runs batted in. Jason was 2 for 7 against the White Sox. Soft pop goes foul. Coming over Chris Davis. That's 1 out. Jimenez looking very sharp early. Will face Marwin Gonzalez next. Gonzalez with a 248 average has a couple of homers. He's driven in 12. 1 for 3 in his last start on Saturday. This is his 22nd start of the year at shortstop.
You know, what Marwin has proven to be to this point is a good, consistent, steady, make the routine play shortstop. And he's had some big hits for the ball club.
There's a liner to right field. Delman Young over. 2 outs. Well hit ball by Marwin Gonzalez. And George Springer will follow. Springer struck out in the first inning. Adam Everett's in town. Good to see Adam again. Roving infield instructor. He sees the minor league clubs throughout the season and occasionally checks in with a big league club.
Very valuable when he comes around to help with the infielders.
Springer struck out in the first inning. And there's strike one to George. You mentioned Oberholzer made his first major league start against Baltimore. That was at Baltimore, July 31st, 2013. 7 shutout innings, but a no decision for Brett, or a win rather for Brett in that one. He fouls it back. No balls, 2 strikes. So he has 2-0 lifetime against this club. And now Jimenez, who has never lost to the Astros, knows how that stacks up for him as well. It's going to be an interesting matchup between these two tonight. In tight, 1-2.
I think the Astros are beyond trying to prove to themselves, but I think it's always with a ball club you're trying to prove to everybody else that you are a first place ball club. I think that's where the Astros are. The Orioles are starting to feel like, I think in their own estimation, that they maybe are hitting their stride.
They were outstanding last year, winning 96, losing 66, winning the AL East by a dozen games. Their pitching coach, Dave Wallace, is a former Astros pitching coach. The shortstop is there to play it. Cabrera on to first. And after 3, that's an 8-pitch inning, no score.
We welcome you back to Minute Maid Park. Top of the 4th, no score between the Orioles and the Astros. And I'm joined by a very special guest for our progressive fan of the game. He's got great seats, too. This is Jeff Idelson with me. He's the president of Major League Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Welcome. First off, coming from Cooperstown, but so much buzz about Cooperstown, especially with Craig Biggio being inducted in this class. 4 players being inducted. What do you think of Biggio getting in the second try?
Well, I think anytime you get into the Hall of Fame, it's special. 75% is a big number to get. Very happy for Craig and Patty and their family. Very well-deserved election. And he goes in with 3 guys who combined to win 9 Cy Young Awards. Very powerful class.
I saw you catching up with them before the game, didn't I? Nolan Ryan down there. That's quite a group you got down there that you were catching up with.
Yeah, really. I worked with Buck in New York many, many years ago. And, for Craig, it's a great fraternity. He's joining some great Hall of Famers, came through Houston. I mean, let's not forget Randy Johnson went 10-1 in 1998 and says that was the best he was pitching. You think of Don Sutton, you think of Robin Roberts, Joe Morgan, guys that have come through here. Of course, Nolan. Craig's in a very elite company.
Well, Craig Biggio being the first Astro to get into the Hall, so fans are extremely excited. What can they expect about that weekend, July 26th in Cooperstown?
Julie, it's a great weekend for fans because most everything is free of charge and outside. The induction's outdoors on Sunday the 26th. You just come and you see not only Craig and the other guys, but 50 returning Hall of Famers like Nolan, George Brett, Whitey Ford, all your baseball cards coming back to life. And Saturday we have a great award ceremony. Dick Enberg is going to be recognized with our broadcast award. Doubleday Field, huge parade. Really Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all sorts of events for fans. Texans will love it.
There's lots to do out there, is what you're saying. Like to come in early, especially. How cool is your job? You have got to see some of the coolest things in the museum.
I do. I have a very
and see really cool people, right?
You're right. I mean, whether it's Jose Altuve's bat or Ty Cobb's spikes, it's all in Cooperstown, and it's a great museum. Baseball's had a long history, and the Hall of Fame plays a significant role in refreshing and keeping alive the memories of our childhood and everybody else's.
Well, we want to remind the fans to check out Astros.com for more information. There's travel packages available, but such a great weekend coming up July 26th in Cooperstown. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the game.
Thanks, Julia. Great seats. Thanks, Reed.
Guys, back up to you.
Thanks, Julia, and good to have Jeff with us. Adam Jones, the batter, 0-1 the count after the single by Lowe on the 0-2 pitch to left field. And that line drive went in front of Preston Tucker. Looked as if Preston was weighing the odds of trying to come in and make a diving catch, but he laid back on it. So that was hit number 3 for the Birds tonight. Obi last pitched in that AAA game for Fresno against Memphis on Wednesday. He's working with the normal 4 days rest. He worked 4 2/3 innings, gave up 4 runs, 1 earned, throwing 85 pitches. And one thought was to have him make a second rehab start, but then when Scott Feldman went down with a knee injury, he was summoned. They've got him if they execute. Carter throwing. Marwin Gonzalez, the tag on the run, and they do gun down David Lowe.
Yeah, just because the pitcher picks off the runner doesn't mean it's over yet, and first baseman has to make an effort to come toward the baseball, shorten things. Let's see if Carter does that. Maybe a step. That high throw means that Marwin has to get the tag down quickly, and he does that very well while dashing across the bag. Yeah, though Carter's throw was up a bit, he did get it there quickly and give Marwin the chance to adjust.
Yeah, he had something on it. Now Jones grounds one. Marwin to his right this time. And he is acquitting himself very well at shortstop tonight. 2 outs.
And I think that's the sense with the Astros, is that if you're wanting to get the steady, solid performance there at shortstop, Marwin's the guy right now.
Now with 2 outs, it's Delman Young. A.J. Hinch had a scheduled defensive workout for his team before the game today. Those are scheduled in advance of the season. There's ball 1. Jonathan Villar went out for some extra work before that, making some throws across the diamond to first base.
AJ's tried to make it clear to the media members that it's not a form of punishment, but where he really communicated early on was to the players, let them know back in spring training that these dates were already pre-set up. It was never going to be punishment.
1-2 to Delman Young.
Just the high hitter. And Delman Young, as you mentioned, Brownie, yesterday a couple of home runs, his first couple on the year. But that pitch would be the one you would think he might jump on.
He rocks this line drive into center field. A 1-2 offering he found delectable, and that is hit number 4.
Almost the same pitch. Looked like the 4-seam version of the fastball up through the plate, and just kind of letting Delman Young get a big swing. Let's see where this pitch winds up. And top of the strike zone, a lot of plate. That's big swing time.
Chris Davis hit the fly ball to left field in the second inning. Tomorrow night at 7:10, Colin McHugh and Mike Wright are the starters. Wednesday night at 7:10, it's Lance McCullers and Miguel Gonzalez. Thursday at 1:10, Dallas Keuchel and Wei-Yin Chen. In for a strike to Davis. Cubs lead the Marlins 3-1 at Miami tonight. They're in the top of the 7th inning. Jason Hamill pitching for Chicago with no walks and 11 strikeouts through 6.
Speaking of pitching performances, very encouraging so far for Brett Oberholzer.
Bouncer, and the shift has Altuve positioned right there for out number 3. 4 scoreless for Obi in a 0-0 game.
Quote of the day, it's by Nolan Ryan. He said, one of the beautiful things about baseball is that every once in a while you come to a situation where you want to and where you have to reach down and prove something. I get the feeling that Nolan proved things pretty well over the course of his great career. 7 no-hitters. Just amazing to consider, and the strikeout totals and complete games. What did we say? 222 complete games?
That was it.
Phenomenal.
Ball 1 to Jose Altuve, who grounded out earlier to third base.
If a guy completes 4 or 5 games a year now, he is, if not the leader in the league, he's among the leaders.
True. 2-0 to Altuve. He is 5 for 16 in his career against Jimenez, who has not given up a hit through 3. He has 1 walk. On the edge. 2 balls and a strike. But that view of a beautiful evening.
Spot the corner. Let's see. Might have gotten a seam on the outside edge.
Maybe. Fly ball out to left center field. Pierce is there. 1 out for Ubaldo. His first start of the year was a dandy. 7 innings of 1-hit shutout ball. A 7-1 win over Tampa Bay back on the 11th of April.
Jose Altuve has been tasting a little bit of how the other half lives here recently. I think it'll turn around at some point, but I'll bet he's starting to question.
Preston Tucker struck out in the first inning. It's a soft foul pop behind the screen. There's strike 1. Beautiful night out there.
I'll tell you where all the humidity's gone. It's gone right to my forehead.
Up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Milwaukee 1, St. Louis nothing. They're in the bottom of the 3rd at St. Louis. One and 2 to Tucker. Mike Fiers is on the mound for Milwaukee against Jaime Garcia for the Cardinals. Had some rainouts in baseball today. Time call by Tucker now. Toronto and Washington postponed in Washington. Minnesota and Boston postponed at Fenway.
Talking about those first place Twins.
First place Twins with the best record in the American League.
You might want to check that again. Make sure you got that right.
Boy, wouldn't you think you would have to after saying that? They're 30-19, Ash.
Pretty amazing. Paul Molitor, the new manager.
Line drive could be a double into the left field corner. Tucker heads for second base. Pierce up with the ball. Two-base hit for Tucker, his 8th of the year. And that's the first hit by an Astro. Tucker has been a doubles machine. At 64 at-bats, 8 doubles.
I don't know if he has a conscious notion of trying to hit away from the shift, or if he's just getting pitches that he reacts to. But one way or another, he's been amazing with the bat. And like you say, the doubles have been such a key part of what he's done. I think at some point he's going to be a very big home run hitter.
He's aboard for Evan Gattis, who struck out in the second inning on a neck-high fastball. Gattis swings at one in the dirt. There's strike one to him.
This is that splitter in the dirt. And so we're talking about with Ubaldo Jimenez that he's been deceptive this evening. That appears to be so when you look at some of the swings of the club. That splitter in the dirt has had a lot of swings going after it. The fastball up out of the strike zone. And he is staying out of the strike zone at times when he feels he doesn't need to enter.
1-1 to Gattis. Dodgers 2, Rockies nothing in Colorado, top of the second inning. Clayton Kershaw is pitching for LA. Jimmy Rollins hit his 6th homer. Andre Ethier his 7th off Kyle Kendrick. Dodgers have only a half-game lead on the Giants right now. In for a strike, and it's 1-2 to Gattis.
Looked like a good fastball right at the knees of Evan Gattis, and there it is. So it wasn't just knees, it was inside edge.
Gattis leads the American League in runs batted in his last 33 games since April 26th. In the dirt. Nice block by Joseph. 2-2.
Caleb Joseph is getting it done. You're working with a pitcher who does a lot of his work by throwing that splitter, making hitters feel like it might be a strike and then putting it in the dirt. As a catcher, you better get that job done, and you can't do it better than what Joseph is doing.
Colby Rasmus is on deck. And Gattis is down on strikes. 5 punch-outs for Jimenez.
Evan Gattis puts that beard right on the baseball, but still comes up empty. Look at his head stay down, trying to stay with it. Ball just diving toward Mother Earth.
Ripped off-speed pitch for Jimenez, who now faces Rasmus. Colby struck out in the second inning. Broken bat roller to first. Davis with the play to end the Astros 4th. No runs, a hit, a man stranded, no score.
here between the Orioles and the Astros. The Astros and the Astros Foundation are hosting a food drive supporting the Houston Food Bank during the Orioles series today through June 4th. Fans can participate by bringing canned goods or other non-perishable food items with them to the games. For more info, visit astros.com/food drive. Very good thing the Astros are doing there. Brett Oberholzer back on the mound. 9 up, 9 down for him. He's got to be feeling good. What he'd really, with that blister, had hoped to just miss one start, but the Astros decided to be best to get it all healed up, put it behind him. And one word you keep hearing when you're talking about or asking about Oberholzer is competitive. And guys, he had hoped to be a mainstay in this starting rotation to start the year, improving on a year that we all know was very frustrating for him, splitting time between the majors and AAA. It's just the start to this year that's found him frustrated again, but not having much to do with the way he's pitched, just because of all the injuries, guys.
In many ways, his season is starting tonight, Julia. There's ball one to Steve Pearce. Pearce grounded on a 2-0 pitch to third base earlier. But he's a very important man now in the scheme of things. Obi moves that one inside. Count runs to 2-0. Brett, 25 years old, from Delaware. Was 5-13 last year with a 4.39 ERA. 4-5 in his rookie season with a 2.76 in 10 starts. 2 balls and a strike. And he has shown that good command of pitches. That one dips low, and it's a 3-ball, 1-strike count to former Astro Steve Pearce. Pearce was drafted by the Pirates in 2005. He takes a leadoff walk. First walk for Obi tonight. Caleb Joseph follows. Joseph hit the line drive single off Altuve's glove. The shift is on, placing Altuve at that same spot where he got that glove on the Joseph liner first time up. Joseph, a 7th-round pick of the Orioles in 2008. Hits this one to right field, chasing Springer back a few steps with the catch. 1 out. Third straight leadoff man to reach against Obi, but the first 2 reached in the 3rd inning. Then he got a double play and a strikeout along the way. And 2 more singles in the 4th, but the caught stealing on his pickoff throw proved to be instrumental in putting up that 0. Now Flaherty, who singled to center field in the 3rd inning.
That at bat by Caleb Joseph, eventually flying to right field, kind of typifies what hitters do a lot of times when maybe they're trying to hit one through the shift. They get under the ball as they try to go the other way rather than staying on top.
And strike 1.
Which is why I think that if, for most hitters around the major leagues, not the exceptional ones, but for most, if you're going to learn to take advantage when a shift is put on you, you've got to work on it in batting practice. Start trying to hit line drives and ground balls the other way.
High bouncer goes foul. No balls, 2 strikes. The Orioles skipper Buck Showalter is 2 wins shy of tying for 34th on the all-time managerial wins list. He has 1,282.
And he broadcast for a couple of years there.
Yeah, that's true too. Earl Weaver's the all-time leader for Baltimore. Paul Richards was 2nd and Hank Bauer 3rd. And Buck has 400 wins to rank 4th in club history. 1-2. Skippered the Yankees, and he was the first manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Baltimore had that outstanding season last year with the 96 wins. Had a very consistent starting rotation. That's out to the wide open spaces. And that should score a run. It's going to roll up the corner of Towles Hill. Pearce coming around 3rd. Flaherty into third base, an RBI triple, 1-0 Baltimore. Flaherty's first triple of the year. That gives him his 5th run batted in.
Oh, those walks, how they seem to kill. But Flaherty couldn't have placed that any better in the gap in almost straightaway center field, a little bit toward right field a bit. You can run forever on that one.
Pierce scored the first run, and now the infield comes in with a runner at third and one out for Everett Cabrera. Cabrera struck out in the third inning with 2 on and nobody out. Squeeze, and it's in the air and fouled. Flaherty was coming from third. Cabrera failed to get it down.
And a chance now for the pitch by pitch, brought to you by Steel Dealers. We turn to Everett Cabrera. His previous at bat as he eventually struck out. He shot a second strike foul, and then immediately on 3 pitches down on strike, second strikeout of the night for Brett Oberholzer, polished him with that curveball. So keep an eye open for that, although the squeeze has already been shown.
It's 0-2.
Now Obi's gotten him on the low curveball, that high fastball. A little bit like his counterpart tonight, Jimenez, working out of the strike zone with success.
Cabrera takes it. It's a ball. 1-2. And he reached for that one and struck out. 2 down. Number 3.
At 89 miles an hour, the fastball of Oberholzer here, kind of in his high-end zone. He might get to 90 on occasions. So he spots that 4-seamer up and gets the punch out.
Now the infielders back up for Manny Machado. Machado drove in 71 in his best season. That was 2013. He had 51 doubles that year. Ground ball up the middle. Marwin Gonzalez stretches out, spins, throws in the dirt, and in time! A 2-bounce throw gets Machado. Spectacular play by Marwin Gonzalez. Very quick release from shallow center field. This is a beauty.
I have no idea how he finds first base on this throw. Look at the eyes just at the last instant, maybe pick it up. Rewind. We're talking defense tonight with that rewind. Manny Machado grounded into a check swing double play. Watch the turn by Altuve. Spectacular stuff. And then the pickoff. This of David Lowe. Chris Carter teams up with Marwin Gonzalez to be able to get the caught stealing. And now this play by Marwin you will not see finer. Now again, I have no idea how he was able to pick up first base. But that was some kind of defensive gem.
It saved at least one run. Flaherty was stranded at third, and Machado gets a hit on that. Who knows how many more runs score. Bottom of the fifth inning, 1-0 Birds. Carter, Valbuena, and Castro due up for Houston. Chris Carter drew a 4-pitch walk in the second inning. Now Flaherty's being repositioned. And there's strike one on the foul ball. Flaherty, the second baseman, just ran over on the shortstop side of the bag right before that first pitch. Beautiful night out there. And it's fouled away, 0-2. So when a second baseman does that, was he not in the pregame meeting?
Maybe the pregame meeting changed.
Maybe so.
Well, you never know. Chris Carter hasn't shown a great ability to shoot one through the right side yet.
Chris Davis backpedals into shallow right. He's calling, but he apparently lost it. He put his arms out as if to indicate to his teammates he didn't see it. It's that twilight time of night, which can be very difficult. And it was just foul. Ruled no play.
Yeah. You know, watching Davis, it's clear he doesn't see the baseball. Is he letting teammates know, or is he letting the official scorer know that he can't find the baseball?
Maybe the latter.
You never know.
Still light up there. Carter gets another swing with the count 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Chris.
How does a kid learn this delivery as he's growing up? Just doesn't seem like that would happen naturally.
Would you teach that?
Not to anybody I liked.
Not as if we never see the sky here, but those are gorgeous shots.
Did you notice there are no raptors there in the sky?
Yes. Well, we've seen a lot of rain fall from that sky. A few days ago, it was pouring buckets out there.
Allegedly, no rain to come for a while.
Strikeout number 6 for Jimenez. Julia?
Hey guys, want to remind everyone that every Wednesday night home game is $1 Hot Dog Wednesday, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. The next $1 Hot Dog Wednesday is this Wednesday when the Astros take on the Orioles. For more info, visit astros.com/$dogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Luis Valbuena hit a fly ball to left first time up. There's strike 1 to him. Jason Castro on deck. Actually, right-handed hitters have hit for a better batting average against Jimenez than lefty swingers. In the dirt, and it's 1-1.
Sometimes you look at the goodies. Just pour cheese on anything. It should be just fine. I'm going to give that a try at home here soon.
There's a shot to right field. This could tie it. Line drive, Valbuena homer. It's 1-1. Number 11. It's a brand new month for Luis.
Same old trot, though. And he'd like to feature that a few times again.
He ties Evan Gattis for the club home run lead. And the Astros get their 69th long ball.
Well, he got this splitter that stayed up and stayed in the strike zone. And had a pretty good response for it. We already know he's got very good power.
That's the quick strike capability that they love. Now 1-1, and it's Castro with strike one. He fouled out to the first baseman in the third inning. Albuena hits a shot to right field, giving him 19 runs batted in. It's his third career homer against Baltimore. Castro's hit by the pitch right around the right knee area.
Oh, this has got to hurt.
Second hit batsman of the year for Jimenez. Ironically, Jason was just referring before the game tonight about last year. We were talking about all the inside pitches and how many times he got hit early last year.
There's really no way to get out of the way of this pitch either. Your front leg comes down, and as soon as it comes down, that's what you get. Man.
The right leg just collapsed on him. That's the second time he's been hit this year, but last year he had a rash of pitches that drilled him early in the season.
I heard that conversation with you. He knew the exact number.
He sure did, didn't he?
Don't think he'll forget this one anytime soon. All you can hope is that he's able to get physically down to first base and stay in this ballgame. If he can do that, it might be the best way to kind of move that knee around and get all the problems out of there.
We were talking before the game about how many times pitchers move him off the plate with the first pitch in an at-bat, but they haven't been coming inside that far. That one getting away from Jimenez.
See what this sounds like. That's a tough guy right there. I've seen Jason Castro get hit all over his arms, shoulders, hands, body from behind the plate, and now takes that and then takes off running like this. Very impressive. A lot of guys, I assure you, would not make it through that hit by pitch.
Last year he was hit 9 times. Not that anybody in this club wants to go after Craig Biggio's career mark or anything like that. Painful way to get on.
Jason could have used that elbow pad on the knee right there.
Yes, he could have. Now it's Marwin Gonzalez. What a fantastic play he made just a few minutes ago on Machado's grounder up the middle. And he had a good swing of the bat, lining to right field in the third inning. That's in the dirt for ball one. Wonder if Jason will feel like a lot of base stealers that after being drilled, he's going to steal this base, Ash.
Yeah, you just categorized him as a base stealer. I imagine he's going to somehow edit out that comment, save it for generations to come in the Castro family.
It's a pink sky out there. What's that indicative of in baseball?
Home runs for the home team.
Ground ball. Davis throwing to second gets yes, he gets credit for the force, but was that ball ever caught by Everett Cabrera?
I say no.
Mark Carlson gave it the out call, but did he ever have possession of that baseball?
Is that still one of those plays that cannot be questioned?
I believe it is.
That's really unfortunate because I didn't see this as being caught. Let's take our peek and allow me the opportunity to eat crow. I don't think that was caught. That looks like it just hit into the glove and slapped right back out.
Sure does.
That's not caught.
It came right back out. There's never any possession of it, but it's an umpire's judgment call. Now George Springer's the batter. He's 0 for 2. And throw to first.
Why did that play get excluded from replays?
I think it's because it is an umpire's judgment.
Well, isn't that true for any call?
Well, it's different with a force play sometimes, and sure, tag plays are also included in replay reviews. You're right.
I mean, it's an umpire's judgment, an out call or a save call at any base, in my assessment. I just don't know why they chose to eliminate that particular play.
I think he has to judge whether the ball was ever in possession of the middle infielder in that case. And it's a little bit different than whether a first baseman kept his foot on the bag, whether the ball arrived ahead of the runner. Those things can be displayed very easily on replay for that decision to be made. But did he have possession of the ball? That's tough for the guys in New York to decide. Better left up to the guy on the field.
It was easy for me right here.
Marwin goes. Here's the throw, and it's bouncing into center field, backed up by the shortstop Cabrera. Stolen base by Gonzalez. Marwin's first.
Nice quick release by Caleb Joseph. He sets up. You can see how he really anticipated the throw need right there, but just couldn't get it all the way to second base. Had he gotten it there, Flaherty should have been able to get the out.
That hop came off the thumb of Flaherty's glove. And that gives the Astros a runner in scoring position. A 2-1 count on George Springer. Two to George.
Umpire's judgment right here that this ball catches outside corner. I don't know about that.
Looks like that's where a pitcher can go to get a call tonight.
Does appear that way.
In the dirt, and Springer has worked the count full.
It's been a tough pitch to lay off, that splitter that starts somewhere near the knees.
73 pitches for Ubaldo Jimenez. And that's ball 4. Springer takes his 33rd walk of the year. That's number 2 of the night for Jimenez, who's also hit a batter. Altuve gets a chance now. He's 0 for 2. The Astros as a team are hitting .232 with runners in scoring position. Altuve has been the man in these situations. He's hitting .344. And he bunts and fouls at strike one. A surprise bunt attempt there with Tucker on deck.
Well, it's one of those 2-out scenarios where a base hit that gets beyond the infield drives in a run. And I think it speaks to where Jose feels personally right now.
Yeah. Not that getting Tucker to the plate with the bases loaded is a bad idea.
Not at all.
He shows bunt again, and that one's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Orioles' ERA is the most improved in the majors from April to May. It was 4.78 in April, 3.38 in May, a difference of 1.40. And a turn back towards second on Margot. Altuve shoots a line drive to right field, in for a hit. Here's Young with a throw to the plate. Marwin Gonzalez, and the ball is waiting. He slides into the tag and is out. Caleb Joseph tags him out. And the Astros lose another runner at home plate. But Valbuena homers to right field. And in the 5th inning, this game is tied 1-1.
at tomorrow's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevron. Michael Wright goes for the Orioles. Made 3 starts on the year, so with the 2-0 record, he's got a tough assignment going up against Colin McHugh. 11th outing on the year. He's 5-2. ERA a bit higher than Colin would like to see it at 4 1/4. But he's pitched well. And so another one of those matchups where the numbers that Brownie was just talking about for the Orioles and their pitching much better here in recent times.
1-1 game. David Lowe to lead it off and hitting one up the left field line, but foul and out of play. Strike 1. Lowe is 1 for 2. Fine throw to the plate to end that last inning by Delman Young in right for his 7th outfield assist. The Orioles now have 17. That's rolled up the middle. Altuve to his right. He gets a hustling Low, 1 out.
Yeah, if you're wondering about that play and why you send the runner with 2 outs, it's pretty much standard fare. Altuve a great job lining one to right. Because he hit it so well, though, Marwin had a tough time getting around the bag at third base in time. And well, it's funny, my eyes were taking care of the ball to right field. I didn't even get a glimpse there as to where Marwin was exactly in relation to the bag. But I would say he was still shy of getting there at the time that Young picked up the baseball.
Adam Jones has struck out and he's bounced to short. Yeah, it's pretty much an automatic send for the third base coach with 2 outs on a hit to the outfield. There's strike 1. Young's arm, though, is very powerful.
You would love as a third base coach to have your runner around the bag at third base if you're going to send. But compounding things was the fact that Altuve going the other way with a line drive right at the right fielder on 1 hop. It just made it happen quickly. And Marwin, even with 2 outs, couldn't quite get to the bag at third as the ball was gloved.
Just out of the strike zone. Now, was Ubaldo Jimenez getting a call on a pitch there?
Yes, I would say so. And I think Jason Castro may have been, if not verbally, maybe physically making that point.
2-1. Jones puts one out of play, right field side, on a beautiful evening in downtown Houston.
The snow cone catch down the right side. He's not going to take that ball out of the snow cone position.
Nope.
Told you there was a reason for bringing this glove.
Good play. That's a foul ball. The Astros are hosting a national play clinic tomorrow, PLAY. Jake Marisnick and Lance McCullers are joining the Astros athletic training staff to educate youth about living a healthy lifestyle. And they'll be doing that tomorrow morning from 10:30 to 12:30 right here.
By the way, Jason Castro right back behind the plate after getting hit on the knee. And to me, very impressive. I also think it's potentially more helpful to be out there moving that knee around, squatting on it, rather than right now being back in the training room with ice on it, which can be very helpful.
But it can stiffen up, though, after the ice treatment, right?
It clearly can. Tough guy.
Have you known any wimps who were major league catchers?
I would say that I fought the urge at times. you get just beat up sometimes, and you kind of want to let out a little squeal, but it's tough.
So when you get to August, is it just an ice bath every night? All right, let's ice down the whole body, because otherwise there's no feeling in the body.
Well, maybe that should have been the case. You really do try to gut it up, but there are moments when things like this happen.
Oh, that bent finger of yours?
It's just hard to say, let's go, I'm good, let's carry on.
3-2. Well, at least the home plate collisions are just about gone.
Those I always felt like favored the catcher, but we've seen cases where that wasn't the case.
In the dirt, ball 4 to Adam Jones. That's the second walk for Oberholzer. And he'll face Delman Young next. Young 1 for 2. Speaking of home plate collisions, we were reading that Carlos Correa, who's playing at AAA Fresno, was involved in not a grinding home plate collision, but some sort of collision in last night's game. He was taken out of the game and is not playing tonight for precautionary reasons. Nothing suspected to be damaging from that at all. He's hitting .241 now with 3 homers and 8 runs batted in at AAA Fresno. They strike one to Young. Young 1 for 2 in this game. Carlos with a .737 OPS there. And he's had 79 at bats now at AAA.
Yeah, that 240 something batting average says he's hit the skids here recently. He was tearing it up.
There's a shot to left field, but that'll hook foul.
But you know, I don't care what level of professional baseball you're playing at, you're going to have some rough spells. And I'd say that's really what Carlos is going through at the moment. Get him hot once again, and hopefully at a time when he's able to come and help the Astros.
No balls, 2 strikes. Good to see some youngsters here in the park tonight. We know we'll see a lot of young people when school is out. It is out in some areas. Next homestand, it should be out everywhere. Popped up. Chris Carter will take a look, but will not have a play. Well, you know, some people go to school somewhere. Alfredo Gonzalez signed as a non-drafted free agent. Hit 2 homers in the 6th inning yesterday at Lancaster. Lancaster in a scoring fest, 37-13 over High Desert the last 2 days. Young fights it off. It's still a no ball, 2 strike count. Fresno lost to Oklahoma City 4-1 yesterday. Corpus Christi won 4-2 over Arkansas. Mike Hochschild going to 4-1. And Josh Hader got the save, his first save of the year. Corpus now 33-16. Foul back. Will Harris is beginning to throw for the Astros in their bullpen. 77 pitches for Obi. He threw 85 in a AAA game last week. And 6 innings would be a good way to re-enter the rotation if he gets to that point. Well, maybe they go batter by batter after that. Foul back.
Julia, watch yourself. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh, it's really close.
Yeah. Why she won't wear her glove down there.
No.
Guys.
High heels, but
everyone was so worried.
No glove, but you'll make sure and feature the high heels, huh?
Man. I did not know that was coming that close to me.
Way too close.
Ooh.
If you had your glove, would you have called it?
Lined into right field for a hit. Adam Jones to second. He'll hold there as Springer picks it up in shallow right field. Young reaches, and it's first and second, one out for Davis now, who's 0 for 2.
I'd say Delman Young has suddenly found the groove.
Yes. 2 home runs yesterday, 2 singles tonight. Davis has flied to left and grounded to second. That's 6 hits for the Birds, 3 for the Astros. Davis is hitting .542 on the first pitch this year. He swings at that first pitch in the dirt for strike 1. That'll take that batting average down a notch or so.
You can host a hybrid in your yard for maybe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Seeing some photos on Twitter of the beautiful sky. that pink sky a few minutes ago outside Minute Maid Park. In tight to Davis. 1-1. A lot of pitchers do like to make sure they do the inside work on Chris Davis because he can reach out and do some damage with that bat on pitches away.
Did some damage in Baltimore in Game 3.
Sure did. And a turn back toward Adam Jones at second base. The Orioles don't do much running. They have 18 steals. That's next to last in the American League. There's a shot toward the right field corner. That's a line drive drilled off the wall. Jones is going to score to make it 2-1. Stop sign for Young on a double by Davis. That's the 11th two-base hit for Chris Davis, giving him his 31st run batted in. And the Birds lead 2-1 now.
Time now for the pitch by pitch, brought to you by Steel Dealers. We're doing this Chris Davis at bat. Obi got ahead, breaking ball in the dirt. Pat started, then tries to bust him up and in. But then the breaking ball on the inner portion of the plate, maybe off the corner. Davis able to keep the hands ahead, keep the ball fair. Not easy to do, and he rammed it off the right field wall, which is now backed up by a foot or two.
82 pitches for Oberholzer. He leaves trailing 2-1 with runners at second and third and one out. Will Harris coming in. Back in a moment. He called to the bullpen, and the right-hander Will Harris, who has been nothing short of sensational this year for the Houston Astros, will come into this jam facing Steve Pearce.
Look at the numbers on Will Harris. He's been, as Brownie says, just excellent. And that's the bullpen overall set of numbers. Second best in the, make that third best in the Major League, second best in the American League, 2.28. That ERA as a group, the batting average against 183. Tells you a lot about what they've done. The whip under 1. Phenomenal.
The infielders are in tight with runners at second and third and one out, and Steve Pearce the batter. Pearce grounded to third in the second inning. He walked and scored in the fifth. Harris throws, and there's ball one to Pearce with Joseph on deck. Harris has retired the first batter 14 times in 19 tries. He has inherited 10 runners. Only one has scored. Swing and a miss there by Pearce. That makes it 1-1.
You get to where you start kind of reciting numbers as you take a look at that last pitch. That whip well under the 1 mark. How do you get there? 6 hits and 6 walks allowed in 24 innings.
In the air, foul. 1-2. His fastball is 91, but it confounds the hitters on many an occasion. 1-0 with a 0.38 ERA, 1 run allowed this season.
Yeah, that personal whip for Will Harris at 0.5, a half a runner per inning pitched this year.
Batting average is .078 against him overall. You saw the breakdown on left and right. On the curve, he gets a strikeout. That's exactly what the Astros were hoping for. 2 outs.
No, Will Harris is kind of becoming that guy that comes in not just the 9th inning to pick up a statistical save, but a guy that comes in the big moment in a ball game, and this certainly could be that.
Terrific work by Castro with that curveball in the dirt. Now the infielders move back, and they're in an overshift on Caleb Joseph, who's 1 for 2. He lined a single off Altuve's glove in the 3rd inning. Rasmus plays in right center field for Joseph. That is strike 1. This bullpen has averaged 4.7 strikeouts for every walk. That's tops in the majors. With 168 strikeouts and 36 walks in 153 2/3 innings. Just glittering numbers for the Astros relievers. It's just off the plate, and it's a 1-1 count. Flaherty, who's 2 for 2, is on deck.
Tries to cut that fastball. Maybe catch the outside corner. Missed it a bit.
Harris threw an inning and a third of perfect baseball Friday night. He came in with the bases loaded and 2 outs and got a fly ball to right field. Curve comes in there. 1-2.
Nice assortment of pitches, and that curveball right over the top. Something is working.
It's a tremendous pitch for him. That pitch usually is working, and he can bury it in the dirt as he did on the previous hitter, Pierce. He might be wanting to do that here. He does, and Castro's on it, but the hitter's not biting. 2-2 on Joseph.
And Castro is working as well. Well, that was kind of a textbook showing on what you do to block the curveball. Glove came up a hair, but boy, he got quickly to his knees. Bottom line for pitchers, you're trying to come up with key outs, strikeouts maybe. You'll throw that pitch in the dirt. There has to be that assessment the catcher will get it done.
Fastball fouled away. And a late swing by Joseph after the curveballs. This has been a marvelous acquisition by Jeff Luhnow and his staff. Will Harris, 30 years old, born in Houston, was a 9th round pick of Colorado in 06, a waiver claim last November by the Astros. Not biting. Joseph has worked it back to a 3-2 count. Yeah, he's done very good work. Harris had a stretch from last year of 26 straight scoreless appearances. Big 3-2 pitch is coming. And it's punched to right field over toward the line for George Springer for out number 3. Terrific work for Harris. 1 run scoring on 2 hits. 2 men stranded in scoring position. Baltimore leads it 2-1.
Office and see a ball game at Minute Maid Park with the Astros 9-inning lunch break this Thursday, June 4th at 1:10 p.m. Purchase your tickets today by visiting astros.com/lunchbreak or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS. How cute was that baby? Where did the baby go?
Gorgeous baby.
That was the jersey off the player's back thing going on there, wasn't it?
2-1 game. Baltimore leads. There's strike one. Preston Tucker leading off the home sixth. He doubled in the fourth to left field. He's 1 for 2.
Jose Altuve had to go back in the clubhouse and get another jersey.
No balls, 2 strikes. Jimenez given this 2-1 lead thanks to the double by Davis. Oberholzer in 5 1/3 allowed 7 hits, 2 runs, walking 2, fanning 3, throwing 82 pitches tonight. Way up, and it's 1-2. One viewer communicated via Twitter that Ubaldo Jimenez's motion kind of reminds him of Rick Sutcliffe.
Yeah, for me, when I think of Rick Sutcliffe, he was a back archer, kind of like Don Sutton. There have been a number of the guys, but he'd arch his back and then wrap the baseball. That wrist of the right hand would wrap all the way back before he delivered right over the top. He was tough to pick up.
Strikeout on the off-speed stuff. That's number 7.
But I think there is an element of that deception in the inability to pick up the baseball. That splitter has left hitters wanting tonight.
He came into this game throwing that splitter 12% of the time. He's used it very effectively. Evan Gattis has whiffed both times tonight. He backs away from ball 1.
Pretty good looking curveball. Might have been away. Interesting. It looked like Evan Gattis was listening in and non-believing. Sometimes catchers will say that was a good pitch, and the hitter wants to turn and say, no, it wasn't. Not even close.
2 balls, no strikes.
So if you think a catcher has this clean rapport going on with an umpire, it doesn't always work out that way.
That's in for strike 1. 2 balls and a strike. The left fielder Pierce is way over in left center field. That's where many teams will station the left fielder in this ballpark. That's out to center field. David Lowe, 2 outs. Asking Alan Zinner, the assistant hitting coach tonight, is that taking away a lot of base hits in this ballpark to have the left fielder over there in what would normally be the power alley? He said, well, not necessarily, but on some occasions it could.
Yeah, I guess if you feel like more balls go that direction than closer to the left field line, then I guess so. A guy like Colby Rasmus isn't likely to hit a lot of balls down the left side. But I would think Evan Gattis, who can pull the baseball, could find a lot of space down that left field side.
Rasmus has struck out and bounced out. Lines one, foul. 0-2 to Colby.
Orioles outfield and infield doing a lot of moving tonight from pitch to pitch.
He struck him out. That's number 8. After 6, 2-1 Baltimore.
It came in the 6th inning. Will Harris came on a run in for the Orioles. Runners at second and third with 1 out. And then he got a big strikeout of Steve Pearce. That was the 2nd out. And then induced Caleb Joseph to fly out to George Springer to end the inning. So just another outstanding performance by Will Harris, who stays on now for the 7th.
Ryan Flaherty is first man up in the 7th inning. Joe Thatcher is at work in the Astros bullpen. Flaherty has a single and an RBI triple in this game tonight. 2-7-0 for the Orioles, 1-3-0 for the Astros. Baltimore stranded 5. Houston has left 4. Harris pounds it in for strike 1. Several Astros relievers continued their outstanding work in the month of May. Pat Neshek was 2-0 with a 0 ERA for 12 games and a whip of .040 in the month of May. Will Harris had similar numbers. Josh Fields also had a terrific month.
0 ERA for the month.
Yeah, for Pat Neshek.
Pretty good quality work.
It's hard to beat that. Of course, a lot of people will look at inherited runners for a guy like Pat Neshek. Foul back.
Guys maybe like starting pitchers.
Yeah. Let's see. Pat Neshek for the season has inherited 7 runners and none have scored. Josh Fields is working there. One of those games, the Astros have not had many chances offensively. They're just trying to hold Baltimore off until the bats can get going. It's 2-2. They were shut out on 10 hits yesterday.
Does that pitch catch any part of the strike zone? Not quite. You could see Jason Castro was working it.
In the dirt for ball 3, and it's a full count on Flaherty.
I don't know if that ball out of the dirt caught a piece of one of the wrists of Jason Castro, but it's one of the things you face in blocking pitches. You will get a number of balls that will catch you on the wrist.
Flaherty went to Vanderbilt. An excellent baseball school. He takes strike 3. He thought ball 4, and no! Trip Gibson has surprised Ryan Flaherty. Now Buck Showalter is going to come out.
Flaherty saying that wasn't even close. Apparently it was closer than Flaherty thought. Let's see. Does that catch? Ah, that does catch some of the upper end of the strike zone. Yeah, it was close. If the strike zone is under the letters there, that pitch was right on that spot.
Much to Mr. Flaherty's chagrin, Everett Cabrera has struck out twice. There's strike 1. I was just asking Jason Castro tonight if umpires were calling the high strike, because we've seen a number of pitches right there in that top line of the strike zone not called strikes this year.
Certainly have. Some pitches well inside the box. And I would say if you went back a few years, you'd find pitches easily inside the box that weren't even considered to be strikes. But I applaud Trip Gibson with that call right there, not because it went against the Orioles, but because he's trying to make that endeavor to switch and call the strike zone the way it is purported to be.
That's lined Altuve. 2 outs.
Jose might have made his little jump just a hair early.
Maybe, but he had some hang time.
Who is the hang time king in the NBA these days?
I'm not sure.
When I was a kid, it was Elgin Baylor. Then
yeah,
they'd always talk about it.
See,
nice going, Elgin.
He's just playing with us. That's 4 straight set down by Harris, and Machado comes up. He's 0 for 3. Dr. J had some serious hang time, didn't he?
Could do anything he wanted. Ooh. He was not governed by the same laws that others are governed by.
No.
He can make all the plays.
Oh, yeah. He's been using Moose again. 2 balls and no strikes.
Word is he can really pick it.
Foul back, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Seeing a lot of little children here tonight. That's great. Families are coming out. It's a comfortable night with the roof rolled back. There won't be many more of those this summer. Near the line for George Springer. And Will Harris has been tremendous. He's retired 5 in a row to keep it close, 2-1 Baltimore in the 7th. Game, Luis Valbuena solo homer in the 5th inning. That's number 11 of the season. It had been 44 at bat since his previous home run, May 17th, against Toronto's Mark Burley. That one tied it at 1 in the 5th. Orbit had a big birthday weekend. Perhaps needs to work off a few calories tonight. As Chris Carter bats, 2-1 Baltimore. And he takes ball 1. Brad Brock is working in the bullpen for the Orioles. 90 pitches now for Ubaldo. Carter has a walk and a strikeout. Rocks one toward left field. That'll hit the big wall. Carter heads for second base. Here's the throw. Pierce will drive him back to first with a very good play. A long single for Carter. That's a 9-game hitting streak for Chris, but he could read that throw and turn around and return to first.
You know, this is right in that area that we were just talking about. Do the hits come to the gap in left center or a little bit more down the left field side? Carter just cuts off the swing, gets the barrel to it. And I would say for most guys who run a little better than Chris, this would be maybe fly out or single anyway down the left field side, turns to extra bases. So it is a give and take, in my opinion. You're just trying to guess along with what you think the hitter's going to do.
Pierce got it back in after barehanding the ball. Now a meeting at the mound before Valbuena bats. Valbuena rocked that homer in the 5th after hitting a fly ball to left in the 2nd. Crowd really getting into it tonight at Minute Maid Park. A lot of energy in this ballpark on a gorgeous night. Breeze has picked up a little bit out to left field. Now Buck Showalter will walk to the mound. That'll be it for the big right-hander, Ubaldo Jimenez, the 6'5" right-hander. lifted from this game with a 2-1 lead. The Baltimore pen has been strong this year and will be called in with a score 2-1 Baltimore in the 7th right after this. After 6 innings of 4-hit baseball, walking 2, fanning 8, hitting a batter. Here's Chris Carter getting the hit off the left field wall.
So this does in Ubaldo Jimenez. Now, is he upset because he gets taken from the ball game maybe with fewer pitches than he thought he could go with tonight? Or is he upset because the defensive shift might have cost him a hit right there to start this 7th inning for Houston? Hard to say, but I've seen pitchers very upset in either case.
Brad Brock is 3-0 with 1 save and a 3.28 ERA in 18 games, and in 2 appearances against Houston had 3 hitless innings and got wins in both of those games. Valbuena with a homer in 2 at-bats. Takes ball 1.
This guy's got a big-time arm. Very impressive in that 3-game setup in Baltimore.
29 years old from Freehold, New Jersey. You see the Astros from the 7th inning on. Tops in the majors in runs scored with 90 and in home runs with 24.
They are the rulers of the 7th inning on universe.
Pat Neshek's warming up for Houston. Brock delivers, and that's a ball to make it 2-0. And also the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Astros are tops in the majors this season. Fields and Neshek. 726 OPS for the Astros. Bottom 3 hitters in the order with 18 homers before Valbuena hit one tonight. Now 3-0 to Valbuena. This Baltimore bullpen has 9 wins, 4 losses, a 3.28 ERA.
Pretty close to a swing right here. You see the bat of Luis get out there, and you can't pick it up. The angle, does the bat cross the plate or not? Could have gone either way.
Valbuena looks at strike 1.
95 on that heater. Got a lot of guys on that 3-0 just laying it in there.
Brock was a 42nd round draft choice in 08 from Monmouth University. Machado way off the third base line. 3-2.
I don't know how much of this velocity might have been picked up in subsequent years to that draft, but I don't know how a mid-90s arm goes that deep in the draft.
Exactly. He pitched well in the playoffs last year with an ERA of 0. Valbuena takes a walk. Hank Conger will be the batter. Jason Castro comes out of this game. Apparently the knee caused a problem after he was hit by a pitch on the right knee in the 5th inning, and Conger's pinch hitting. Runners at first and second for Conger. Conger, a 156 hitter, has 2 homers, 4 runs batted in. He's had 45 at bats. 167 left-handed, 3 for 18. A few games ago, he tried to bunt in this situation and bunted into a double play. Understandable, trailing by 1. Why he would have wanted to bunt 2 men into scoring position. Now we get a pinch runner, Jonathan Villar, running for Carter at second base, representing the tying run. Managerial wheels are turning quickly.
Well, one of those ball games where runs are at a premium, and when you've got a shot at getting one, you better put some speed out there.
Conger versus Brock. It's a shot into right field. Villar's coming to third. Stop sign from Gary Pettis, and the throw comes in right on the money. The bases are loaded with no outs as Conger delivers off the bench.
Well, that worked out beautifully. And this would have been one of those times it would have been just not the right time to send a runner. And well done by Gary Pettis, but Hank Conger comes through with a big knock. And now not only is the tying run 90 feet away, but a go-ahead run at second base in scoring position.
First pinch hit of the season for Conger. Now bases loaded, nobody out. The Astros down by 1. It's Marwin Gonzalez 0 for 2. Jonathan Villar had some base running misadventures in yesterday's game. George Springer is on deck. And there's a foul ball, strike 1. Villar was thrown out at the plate trying to make it an inside the park home run in the 5th inning. He was sent home by the third base coach, Gary Pettis, on that one. In the 7th inning, he had doubled, and on an infield hit up the middle by Jason Castro, he rounded third too far and got thrown out, caught in a rundown.
Moments ago, we saw a very upset Ubaldo Jimenez. I'll bet he has gotten more and more upset.
That's outside for a ball. It's 1-1.
Almost imperceptible little shake of the head.
As a team, the Astros have hit .241 in bases loaded situations. One and 2.
Might be the changeup at 88. It goes 94, 95 on the fastball. I believe that is the changeup.
Sure looked like it. Marwin is 0 for 2 with the bases loaded this season. Striving to make contact with a 1-2 pitch coming his way soon. Struck him out.
And back to the change.
One down for Brad Brock. And it's George Springer next.
That's a potentially very costly out. George Springer, we all know, has that inclination to strike out, and at the same time could be the guy to come up with the big swing.
Springer's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. 1 for 4 in his career with the bases loaded. 0 for 2 this season. He's driven in 17 this year. And it's ball 1.
The Astros without a grand slam this year.
Springer looks at it. Springer has hit 133 with runners in scoring position. 2-0 to George.
Nowhere to put him, and if you're standing in the box in Springer's shoes, a lot of that thought process is, right now I get the fastball I would love to have with men in scoring position.
Now 3-0 for Springer. rising for George Springer. Shot at the middle into center field. VR scores the tying run. Stop sign for all the other runners after they advance. And it's 2-2 as Springer rams one right through the middle. He got the green light and he smacked it for RBI number 18.
Well, as a manager, you got to love that. You give a guy a green light and he takes a good swing and comes through. Ubaldo is not overly tickled with the situation. He really went into that aggressive mode, got the barrel out to a very good fastball.
VR scores. Springer ties it. The run is charged to Jimenez. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs allowed by Jimenez. 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, and a hit batter. No decision for him. And now it's Brock and Altuve. Altuve's 1 for 3.
Head is still shaking.
Preston Tucker on deck. Altuve singled to right in the 5th inning. Alan Gonzalez was thrown out at the plate on that one. There's strike 1 to him.
That's a tough strike. If that is in the strike zone or out, it's a good pitch to have laid off. There it is.
Could be a double play pitch there with that downward movement.
Choose your brand of paint.
Tommy Hunter in the Baltimore pen. 1-1. Brock has yanked a few of those pitches outside.
Very shallow center fielder and right fielder here for Altuve.
Valbuena's the runner at third base, representing the potential go-ahead run here in the 7th. In the dirt, and it's 2-1. A lot of questions have been asked of A.J. Hinch, the hitting coaches, the manager. Why is this team so successful in the late innings? No answers have been forthcoming, but for some reason, these hitters really do concentrate from the 7th inning on and get great results. Upstairs, and it's 3-1.
I'm always intrigued by that kind of a notion, because the implication would be that maybe the concentration isn't very good prior to that.
Right. Now 3-1 with the bases loaded and 1 out, and Altuve will try to tunnel in on one and make it be in his zone. Fly ball towering to left center field. Valbuena will tag. Center fielder is there for the catch, low with the catch. And here's the throw going into third. The Astros take the lead, 3-2. Sac fly by Altuve. Valbuena scores the go-ahead run. RBI number 26 for Altuve. He really got that up in the air.
Yeah, he did, with plenty of depth. Could Conger have continued moving toward third base? As it turned out, yes. That's the thing you don't know. It's always kind of a gamble. Is the throw going to be a good one or not? Easy score for Valbuena as the Astros take the lead. But Conger started toward third base and then thought better of it, and I think wisely in stopping at second. But it turned out he could have made it.
Preston Tucker with runners at first and second. 1 for 3. And it's ball 1. Conger got that aggressive secondary lead. Trying to make sure he can score on a single.
Time for a backbreaker swing right here.
2-0 to Tucker.
But Preston Tucker came so close to breaking the backs of the Orioles in Baltimore when he flied out for the final out of that series. A drive that looked to a lot of us to be a home run. Opposite field.
In for a strike, 2-1. Well, that was a good swing of the bat by Tucker in Baltimore.
Did Tucker take a real strike or an imagined one? I imagine it was not a real strike.
that one is ball 3. 3-1 now to Tucker. These Astros hitters have been working some good counts. Springer hit a 3-0 pitch for the RBI single. Altuve a 3-1 for a sac fly. Now Tucker goes 3-1. And ball 4 loads the sacks. Well, Brock, who was so phenomenal, 3 no-hit innings against the Astros in 2 appearances, 2 wins in Baltimore, fails to match that performance tonight and has a walk, a single, another single to drive in a run, a sac fly, another walk, and that ends his night now as the Astros' 8th batter of the inning will be coming up next. Evan Gattis after this pitching change. 3-2 Houston. They have an opportunity for more with Tommy Hunter warming up now. The Astros have the bases loaded in 2 outs with Evan Gattis about to bat. Hunter in 20 games is 2-1 with a 4.71 ERA. Gave up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning against Houston a few days ago.
21st outing on the year. On the road, he's been untouched. I think that's what Buck Showalter's counting on right now.
Hunter is 28 years old from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and the University of Alabama. First-round pick of the Texas Rangers in 07. Evan Gattis has this opportunity with the bases loaded. He has 1 career grand slam. Hunter gave up a pinch grand slam to Stephen Drew of the Yankees April 13th. That gave him his first loss of the season. Then there's strike 1. Gattis 0 for 3 tonight.
Like watching a guy who wants to drive in runs, who loves to drive in runs. Evan Gattis has become that guy for the Astros, and he took one of those swings on that first pitch.
That's called a strike. 0-2.
Tommy Hunter is one of those guys who's turned his game around as a reliever, where he struggled so much as a starter. Didn't have this kind of stuff as a starter.
Poked into right field. That'll score Conger 4-2. And now here's Springer coming to the plate. And the throw to third. Tucker is out. But the 2 runs had scored before he was tagged at third base. So the Astros will have a 5-2 lead going to the 8th inning. Gattis drives in a couple to give him 33 runs batted in. That's an 8-game hitting streak for Evan. He goes to right field with Conger and Springer coming home. 5-2 Houston after 7. Fair now at southwest.com. Well, the Astros have mounted a big 7th inning rally. 8 batters going to the plate. And they've scored 4 times on 4 hits. So they now take a 5-2 lead to the 8th inning. Pat Neshek coming in with a 3-0 record. 1 save and a 2.41 ERA. Glittering numbers for the season and no walks, Ash.
When you're not a closer and you're not picking up the saves, you want those holds when given the opportunity. 13 of them, second best in the American League. Tied for 3rd in the bigs.
Terrific job by Will Harris, who retired 5 in a row. He struck out 2 of them. He could be the winning pitcher. Neshek comes out, and we have many other changes for the Astros at the same time. There's Jake Marisnick checking into center field. And Conger, after pinch hitting and coming through with that hit for Jason Castro, stays in to do the catching for him. Jonathan VR stays in to play shortstop after pinch running for Chris Carter. Marwin Gonzalez has moved from shortstop to first base, with Carter leaving the game. And Colby Rasmus has moved from center field to left field. David Lowe with strike 1. Now fouls that one away. No balls, 2 strikes. Lowe is 1 for 3 in this game. A.J. Hinch making the moves tonight.
When he brought on VR as the pinch runner, it figured, at least to me, that that was going to put VR at shortstop, where he struggled recently, and move Marwin to first base only because VR hasn't played at first.
Struck out low, 1 out. Yeah.
Don't think of Pat Neshek as a strikeout guy, but he comes up with that cheddar.
A.J. Hinch has used all of his position players in this game. Adam Jones is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Zach Britton is warming up for Baltimore. $17,259 the paid attendance for this series opener.
If you get the green light, take a good swing.
She might knock down somebody's ice cream. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's a bunch of changes A.J. Hinch just made. The merry-go-round started when Conger pinch hit for Castro. VR pinch running for Carter, and so on down the line.
A little tough when you've only got 3 on your bench to start the night.
It certainly is. That's a slow chop. Valbuena barehanding and getting it over to Marwin.
Play worked out great, but the barehanded effort was not needed at all on this play, in my view. It's all well and fine when you get the play done, but took about 3 strides there after gloving it and got the runner by 2.5. And yeah, I would prefer the sure thing, utilize the glove.
2 down, and it's Delman Young. Young is 2 for 3. Marwin Gonzalez has moved right across the diamond from short to first. He is a versatile player. There is ball 1, and it helps when having a 3-man bench to have a Marwin Gonzalez who can play the various positions on the field. Jonathan VR has become more versatile this season. One ball and 1 strike.
And overall, Jonathan's been pretty effective offensively. It's that defensive side that you concern yourself with.
Yep. He's made 9 errors. Rough weekend with 3 errors. Chris Carter saved him another one by coming off the bag and jumping up high to snag a throw that was off. 2 balls and a strike. He was out for early work today, working on the footwork prior to the throw.
which looked really good a week ago and over the recent road trip.
In the air to shallow center, Marisnik moves in. And that's a quick 1-2-3-8 for Nishan. And a 5-2 lead for Houston.
Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is open, and for the first time ever, it's online only. You have to vote for your favorite Astros today by visiting astros.com/vote. Well, the latest polls came out, or I guess you could say voting, for that online voting for the All-Star Game, the American League side. Jose Altuve still leads second baseman, more than 2 million votes. It's incredible. Altuve can't even believe the number of votes that are going up for him. AJ Hinch talking about it today, saying the guys are kind of giving him a hard time for being so popular, but definitely a great gesture by the fans. He's got a great story. He's a big reason why this team is where they are right now. Altuve, though, thinks everybody on this team should be an all-star if you ask him. He started naming all the guys that should be on that all-star team with him. But wouldn't it be great to see him start in an all-star game, guys?
It would be. Only the 7th Astros player to do that. If he does, Zach Britton in 20 games is 13 for 14 in saves. He's had 3 days since he last pitched, even though his club trails 5-2. He's in facing Colby Rasmus and getting strike one.
Apparently the fans, Brownie, in Kansas City think all of their players should be all-stars.
Well, they're turning out the vote, aren't they?
1 year to the World Series, that's all it took, huh?
Right knee contusion is what forced Jason Castro out of this game. Rasmus swings at it. And you see the Astros bullpen and closer Luke Gregerson with the 3-run lead here in the 8th. Brad Brock in 2/3 of an inning for Baltimore allowed 2 hits, 3 runs, walking 2 and fanning 1. It's a shot into left center field. Colby takes it the other way. He's 1 for 4.
That's kind of a different look, Colby Rasmus. First 2 swings, not good ones at all on the tough lefty, but right here just kind of backs off, lays the barrel to the ball, and can't do it much nicer. Take that.
He's aboard for Jonathan Villar. Villar's batting average has come up to 280 now. He has 6 runs batted in. He's been making a surge at the plate. He's had 75 at bats. Little chop brings Britton over, and he throws him out. Rasmus to second, 1 out. And it's Luis Valbuena coming up. Tommy Hunter in 1/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs.
If you like the sacrifice bunt, that was the swinging version.
Yes, it was. Valbuena homered in the 5th to tie the game 1-1. He drew a walk and scored a run in the 4-run 7th. Davis, Pearson, Joseph are due up in the 9th for Baltimore. Strike for Valbuena. Well, the Orioles won 2 out of 3 against the Astros at Camden Yards. Houston trying to square the season series with a win tonight at 2 games each with 3 to go. And for a strike, and it's 0-2. The Astros have really done a number on opponents in the 7th inning of their games. They have outscored their opponents 34-17 in that inning. Conger's on deck. Up the middle, it rolls towards center field. There's a diving play by Cabrera. He'll throw to third, and Colby Rasmus rounded the base too far, and he's thrown out. Throw back to first, and no out there as Valbuena was scrambling back in. That's the 2nd straight game. An Astros base runner has come too far around third on an infield hit up the middle, and that play goes from 6-5 on Rasmus. It is a single for Valbuena.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but it's a mistake. And for the base runner, you're simply relying on your third base coach. That's a heck of a play defensively, but once it's made, that awareness with the runner has got to be there. And it could be that on this particular play, Colby was already around the bag, and you can't be holding the runner waiting to see the ball go through. That's a tough one.
Gary Pettis was holding him, we're told. There is strike 1 to Hank Conger. That was one tremendous play by Everett Cabrera. It's a split-second decision by the coach. No balls, 2 strikes. Certainly a terrific top-of-the-line player by the shortstop. Not expected. There's a chance to steal a run there, but he was holding him at third. Conger's down on strikes. It's no runs, 2 hits, and a man left for the Astros. We go to the 9th, 5-2 Houston.
Streaming sports service is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details, guys.
What's widget?
Oh, don't get me trying to explain.
Okay. Well, does anybody remember Gidget?
Julia has no recollection of who Gidget is.
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, that was.
We'll show you tomorrow.
That was.
Well, I'll show you the widget tomorrow.
All right. will trade.
Gidget had a widget, by the way.
Gidget had a series of old-time movies. Luke Gregerson is 2-0, 13 for 14 in saves, a 3.74 ERA. And the Astros are 21-1 in his 22 games. Chris Davis leads it off. Davis with the RBI double in the 6th. He's 1 for 3. Pat Neshek had a 1-2-3-8 with a strikeout. Strike one for Gregerson. The Astros trying to close out win number 32 against 20 losses.
Did Gidget ever go any place but Hollywood?
Gidget went to Washington.
Okay.
Never to Afghanistan, though.
Not even with Bob Hope. Huh?
No, not even with Bob. 1-1 the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This bullpen has been spectacular for the Astros. Gregerson threw another scoreless inning Friday night. He saved the 4-1 win in Baltimore, and he gets a strikeout here.
How do you make a big home run hitter look bad? There's a lot of ways, quite honestly. But Luke Gregerson chooses to do it with the sinking fastball. A lot of movement on that pitch.
He's thrown a number of those in recent appearances with great success. We get a pinch hitter for Steve Pearce. Steve Clevenger is hitting for Pearce. Left-handed hitting catcher taking ball 1. Clevenger has hit .571. He's 4 for 7. Chopped over the mound. Charge VR to Marlon Gonzalez. Now Jimmy Paredes will come up and pinch hit next for Joseph. Oh, the former Astro, who had a big series a few days ago at Camden Yards against Houston. Pinch hitting here for Joseph, the catcher. Paredes, though, has tailed off since that series. He went 5 for 11 against the Astros. And for one day, he was leading the American League in batting at .352.
Since that series, 1 for 20, though.
So down to .314. A switch hitter who's hitting .333 from this side of the plate with all 6 of his home runs. Batting left. There's strike 1 to Jimmy. He's played a number of positions. The Astros got him in a trade with the Yankees. He was a second baseman. They tried him at third, played the outfield. He's been DHing quite a bit for Baltimore this year. Chops that one foul. It's 0-2. This can be yet another comeback win for the Astros tonight. They've been in first place since April 19th. Angels and the Rays are tied 1-1. They're in the bottom of the 3rd in Anaheim. The Astros lead the Halos by 4 games. Inside from Gregerson, 1-2.
Luke Gregerson is known in good part for a slider. But tonight, a lot of sinking fastballs. That last one looked like a 4-seamer.
He's showing some different looks in those recent games with more of those. Whoops. Had time been called, or did he just lose his footing?
Just looked like the cleats on that left foot might have caught a little early.
Bounces that one, and it's Paredes who shuffles his feet. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Well, there was the slider, the vaunted slider.
Gregerson trying for save number 14 to close it out, and Will Harris would be the winner. This could be a perfect night for the Astros bullpen. There have been no base runners since Harris came in with 2 on, 2nd and 3rd. And 1 out in the 6th inning, and he slammed the door. He gets a swing and a miss from Paredes, who belatedly runs and is thrown out to end this ball game. The last 11 Orioles set down by the Astros relievers. Harris, Neshek, and Gregerson combined to nail it down for the Astros. Final score, Houston 5, Baltimore 2.